Hi everyone, today we're going to cover a new scandal at the Van Gogh Museum, a new Japanese set featuring Ogerpon EX and potentially the Loyal 3, and new secret rares from the latest Japanese sets, Wild Force and Cyber Judge, along with a bunch of other news stories. So, hi, my name is John, I go by Water Pokemon Master on PokeBeach, and I am joined as always by the absolutely fantastic
Justin Basil of JustinBasil.com. You are going to throw a new way of describing me out every single episode.
That's right. I also changed up the introduction to throw him off too.
Yeah, we're gonna appreciate that one. That's for sure.
All right, let's jump into the news this week. What should we start with?
Let's start with Sparkly.
What's Sparkly?
Sparkly, A-Specs.
Okay.
Everybody wants to see the A-Specs.
All right, so the A-Spec holofoil pattern was revealed from Wild Force and Cyber Judge, and this is what we will presumably be getting in English. You can, oh god, there's my face. You can see it kind of looks like Radiant Pokemon a bit, but
it does remind me of the Radiant holofoil pattern, at least on the pink part of the card.
Yeah, the pink, yeah. Looks pretty cool, I think.
I think it looks nice. I just feel, and I think I've mentioned this before, and maybe I'm just jaded because we didn't get the same pattern as the Japanese Radiants, but it feels like every time we get a pattern here outside of Japan, it's very muted and it's not nearly as intricate, detailed, or as nice looking as the version that Japan gets. We didn't get the Radiant pattern. Our version of it is it's way less nice, to put it very simply.
Yeah, there's different production techniques they use between the English printing plants and the Japan printing plants, and I almost think it's like they have to reduce maybe the techniques that they do for us because they have to print so many more English cards, and then our printing plants also print cards from other countries, whereas Japan is just one country. So I think that's why they sometimes don't look as good here.
Yeah, I don't buy that excuse, to be honest.
You think they could do better?
I think they could absolutely do better.
Well, I mean, you should always try to do better. But I don't know. I think it's a technique thing because they even change up. Remember that production video we saw last year for the how they print the English cards? They even had to redo.
Yeah, that was old too. That was from like
Sun and Moon era,
Burning Shadows time frame.
Yeah.
So early Sun and Moon.
They had to they have to redo the like line patterns for the English card game too, and that's a lot of work to like have to do it twice, for the Japanese card game and then the English card game. So I think it's really like there's some kind of limitation in place for maybe the American production plants aren't as advanced, or it's they have to mass produce cards so much more than Japan does that they have to do things maybe a little more simply. I don't know. We can only guess. But, I mean, I agree with you. It's always better to do better. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little disappointing to look at like a Radiant Greninja from Japan and a Radiant Greninja from here in the United States side by side and go,
it is.
These are almost not even the same card. They're so different.
All right. What's our next news story this week? I'll let you.
Our next news story is Mask of Change, releasing in April, featuring Ogerpon. Potentially, at least.
No, it will. It'll feature Ogerpon EX. So
of course it will, but theoretically could.
No. This is confirmed. This is confirmed.
Okay.
March 22nd, we'll see the release of Crimson Haze, as we previously discussed. That set was supposed to feature Pokemon from Kitakami. Potentially the Loyal 3 as an introduction to them. But now we know that Mask of Change is the next set, and it's going to release on April 26th. We had learned about these sets previously through trademarks, but we don't always know the order that they're going to release, so now we know. Mask of Change will feature Ogerpon EX, and it will also come with, it'll see the release of a deck box and card sleeves featuring terrestrialized Ogerpon wearing her teal mask, which she is most famous for because that's what is in her official artwork. This is the, if you played the video games, she originally had all 4 masks, but the Loyal 3 being Fezandipity, Monkey Dory, and Okidogi stole them. under the spell of Pecharunt, and she was only left with her teal mask. So that's why the official artwork shows her with that. And then 3 weeks later, after this set releases on, when did I say? April 26th. On May 17th, we're going to get a special jumbo cart set Ogerpon featuring an Ogerpon promo card, a jumbo version of that, and an Ogre Mask promo card. Product will come with 8 booster packs of the set, a card display stand, and a coin. I think we can all presume that this Ogre Mask promo may be a Pokemon tool that lets Ogerpon change into her different masks, which will then change her secondary type or give her an additional type. What do you think about that?
I mean, it could be. The fact that there's only one is a little suspicious.
Well, they
I know.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but these product descriptions often just make reference to one, but then end up having different variations. So that's not actually, we don't know that for sure, that it's only going to be one, but it may be. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I just feel like if they're going to feature her, they need to feature her in the main set. I wonder if this is kind of like an Urshifu or a Calyrex situation where you have a different Ogerpon EX in this than you would have in the main set.
Yeah.
Because like if you remember,
yeah,
you had like the different Ice Rider that was in these little sets here.
Yeah.
And it came out here as a promo. It's a terrible, useless card compared to the set version of the Calyrex. So I do have to wonder if it's going to be a similar situation where it's kind of almost a novelty more than an actual playable card.
That's what I was thinking too, the exact same thing, because this is probably a product that the kids are, that like Ogerpon, they're in the store, they see, this legendary that they captured in the games, and it potentially comes with this like cool trainer card that ties into the theme of her masks. So it may not be playable, but what do you think the card would actually do? Did you agree with my assumption that it would be like a tool card that lets her change into her different masks, or what do you think?
I mean, I've suggested that the one, at least one of the ones from the set, would probably be like A-specs that affect her in different ways.
Definitely.
If they're gonna do one outside of a set, though, like, are they gonna really do an A-spec and something like that? I don't know. They would, and then like maybe it's something very simple like the Ogerpon EX that this card is attached to is now grass type, or is now water type, or is now fighting type. I don't know how intricate a card like that might be outside of a set. Yeah. Because usually these things, unless it's a reprint of a card that already exists, I just don't see it being that interesting.
Promos, theme decks, historically, because they're so easy to access, they don't typically have the most powerful cards because they're so easy for people to buy. And then, sorry, I forgot to mention that in the video games, Ogerpon, when she changes into her masks, as we hinted at, she gets a secondary type. So she goes with her Wellspring mask. So her teal mask, her original teal mask, she's pure grass. When she changes into her Wellspring mask, becomes grass water. Hearth Flame mask becomes grass fire. Cornerstone mask becomes grass rock, or grass fighting in TCG terms. And then on May 17th, Japan is going to get 2 Battle Master decks featuring Chin Pao EX or Terra Charizard EX. They'll come with 60 card decks, a pack of 64 sleeves, playmat coin, damage counters, retail for 30,000 yen each. I speculated that this might be how we get the Charizard EX promo that we got in our Charizard EX Premium Collection. Japan already got this Chien Pao EX in, what was it? They got this in some set. That was
Shiny Treasure.
Yeah, Shiny Treasure. That was previously English exclusive. So presumably there'll be reprints with alternate artwork, but we don't know yet.
Presumably, it real at this point, this far out, we really don't know.
And then, so we talked about, or we touched on Crimson Haze. This story was about Mask of Change, and then we also previously discovered a trademark for Night Wanderer. That's definitely going to release in June, so we don't know yet what that set will feature. But I think these sets are going to heavily tie into the DLCs we got. So I think like maybe it'll be the same as the video games where you're introduced to the Loyal 3 first, then to Ogerpon, then to...
So Crimson Haze, I still lean toward that being Blood Moon or Selûne.
Yeah, I mean, it could be because they do seem to be milking these DLCs slowly.
See, I see Crimson Haze and Mask of Change being both larger sets, and that being the entirety of our Scarlet and Violet 6 set. Because of the weirdness of how these cards are releasing, I think they'll both be fairly large sets. So one will focus on Blood Moon or Selûne, the other one will focus on Ogerpon, and will probably also contain the Loyal 3, just to kind of wrap it all up. And then I think the next set after...
I think Loyal 3 would have to be first, because we learned about them first in the... Well, that's assuming they go by the story order in the video games. They may not. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So you got Mask of Change, which is Ogerpon, pretty much for sure. I mean, there's very little doubt, even without the confirmation. And if we keep going, what's after Mask of Change again?
Sorry, Night Wanderer.
Night Wanderer is directly after? Oh, yeah, because it's Night Wanderer. And then, well, look, it could be...
So Crimson Haze was first in March. We had previously speculated...
Stellar Miracle is the other one.
That's way later. That'll be probably July or August.
Theoretically. But it could also be Terapagos. And then that would leave Night Wanderer to be Pecherund.
Oh, right. So you're saying that...
So if the order is not in the order we've learned about them, it could be that Stellar Miracle is Terapagos and Night Wanderer is Pecherund.
Oh, you could be right.
And that would be around July timeframe, which would be right. And then I kind of brought this up before we started recording, but to me, it seems very suspicious that they're kind of wrapping up the entirety of the DLC in the middle of the year. Because that would give them basically 6 months of nothing. Or, maybe DLC 2. Well, I mean, technically we already have DLC 2, but it's more of a 1.5 than a DLC 2. But another DLC, perhaps.
Well,
pure speculation. You're not hearing it first, but...
I think that they may be releasing another Switch game or potentially another DLC for Scarlet and Violet, because the new Switch doesn't come out till... What was it the rumor saying? Like end of 2024?
2025, I think.
Or was it
2025? I think.
Oh, it was? Okay.
I think it's 25.
So
even if it's at the end of this year, they still wouldn't release. They wouldn't release a big game for it specifically. Not right away. Pokemon doesn't do that.
Well, we could be getting like a Unova or Johto game.
And I think we might, but there's always also the possibility they release a second chunk of DLC.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had the main DLC, part 1 and part 2. We get a second one that wraps up the rest of the year and gets us to November, where they release whatever else it is that they're going to drop. Whether that's a Kalos remake, a Unova remake, Legends of some sort, whatever it ends up being. If we do get a second DLC,
you mean
a second full DLC? Don't misunderstand me. I understand the other one is 2 parts.
Yeah.
But that would lead us toward the end of the year, because it just feels very interesting to me that like Stellar Miracle or Night Wanderer, whichever one ends up being the last one, would probably release July, August at the latest. That's not all the way through the year.
I see what you're saying.
Now that maybe mean whatever is coming is fairly small, because you only need a few months, maybe 3 or 4 months.
And another thing too is that so I'm sorry, one thing that I didn't mention, some people may be confused. The trademarks that we've learned about, they tend to release in the order that we discover them, but not always. There is precedent for them being out of order. So what Justin Basil is saying is that Stellar Miracle, which we learned about last week, could be coming out before Night Wanderer. And if it does, well, we know for fact that, or sorry, not for fact, but like 99% that Stellar Miracle should feature Terapagos. So he's saying that could potentially release in July, and then Night Wanderer would be like August or so. So like we would go from
other way. It would be so Stellar Miracle would be June, and then Night Wanderer would be July.
Yeah. So we'd be going from the Loyal 3 to Ogerpon to Terapagos to Pecherund, and then he's saying like, well, then what does that leave for the rest of the year? So it could be that we're getting indications from the trading card games release schedule that we could be potentially getting another DLC for Scarlet and Violet, or potentially new a new Switch game potentially being like a remake or something about one of the regions for the rest of keep us into the rest of the year, especially since the new Switch will be coming out in, I thought I had read 2024 late, but sometime late 2024. Either way, they wouldn't release the new generation right away because that would cut into their sales. They want to capitalize on the fact that most people have the current Switch right now. So I think you are onto something there. That the TCG's release schedule is indicating that they're going too fast through the DLCs, which I didn't really think before, and could be indicating that we're going to get new content later in the year for the TCG to tie into. And we also saw that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, with Cyber Judge and Wild Force, because they featured the new Paradox Pokemon almost immediately after those DLCs came out, which was...
That's actually what alerted me to it, is because we got them so fast.
Right. So actually, this should be a news story for next week.
Speculation alert, everyone. Just a reminder, this is all speculation.
Right, but we always we go by patterns. That's how we do things. Patterns. Pokemon is a transmedia franchise. It is always... you have to pay attention to the release patterns because those indicate how the different areas of the franchise are supporting each other. The video games, the card game, the anime. So the release patterns historically have indicated things like this. So I'm going to...
It's true. And I agree with that sentiment. I just have to be cautious because sometimes our
speculation...
Our speculation and our love for patterns makes us see a Pikachu in the pancake, and the Pikachu's not always there. I mean, sometimes it is, but the Pikachu isn't necessarily in the pancake.
Right. But this is definitely, I think you are onto something. Maybe once we learn the release date for Mask of Change or Night Wanderer, it'll give us a better indication. But also speaking to that, I'm already picturing the potential story in my head. We were saying before that the trademarks might be out of order. That could also be because Stellar Miracle has Stellar in the name, which is a video game mechanic, and that they wouldn't release the trademark for that until they were ready to reveal that in the video games. So that could also be playing to your theory. But again, like you say, it's kind of confirmation bias. Like, we're seeing all these things. We're speculation. We're looking for things to confirm our theory, and we might be missing the bigger picture. But anyway, this could be a story. I just need to research it more. But yeah, okay, let's move on from all this.
Yes, for sure.
I like
our first Temporal Forces cards. Let's look at those. So we got some first English language international temporal. You just best it. It's on the.
No, I was thinking if there was something else I wanted to go over first.
So we get some English and other language cards that are not Japanese for once. We got them really early. It feels like.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, why are they doing that? Especially since Paldean Fates.
When you told me they were dropping, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
really?
I thought the same thing. So like, TPCI, their international press firms have sent these out to international outlets, and it is strangely early because also it was so weird that they did it this week because Paldean Fates comes out this week. So it's like I don't know why they did that, but so what these card reveals tell us is that
I'm not going to complain. I'll take the card reveals.
Yeah, but it's just so weird because it's like, why not? I don't know. Maybe they're changing how they do things. But these card reveals are telling us that the English Temporal Forces set is not going to have too many surprises. It's pretty much going to be, as I said here, based almost 1-to-1 on Japan's Wild Force and Cyber Judge, and the accompanying Cryoton EX and Miraidon EX decks that came out with it. So we already pretty much know the set list is
we know a lot of it.
We're
We're speculating Sonsko villain. We don't know for sure. It's probably in the set based on the numbering. And then there's still 2 cards that are maybe trainer cards that aren't certain. I think most people at this point are suspecting that they're going to be reprints of the capsules. So Ancient Booster Energy Capsule and Ancient Booster Energy Capsule and Future Booster Energy Capsule. Those would theoretically fill out the rest of the set list. But again, we don't know for certain. They could literally be anything.
And Stefan, he always does the set lists on the website. Didn't he say that it was pretty much confirmed Scoville and EX would be in the set based on the numbers?
It's very likely, but so Scovillian's a weird situation because it was part of the same cluster of cards. I believe it was Moonlit Hill and Atticus, was it not?
Yeah.
But it didn't come out with them in Paldean Fates, which is very odd. Now, normally that would mean that it's coming out in a box, but we have Graphite Eye coming out instead. We covered that last week. So I think it's very strange that we don't have it in Paldean Fates, but maybe they pushed it to Temporal Forces. But even still, it's even more weird because there's like 3 or 4 Pokemon EX in the set already that are grass typed. It's just like it's very strange.
Well, we don't know the full picture yet, so once we know the situation,
I see the Pikachu in the pancake. Okay.
Okay, let's. And then do you just want to? Here's the A specs. This is why I got.
Yeah. So Prime Catcher. So Prime Catcher. That's the one you want right there. That's the guy.
Ah! Yeah, Prime Catcher. This is going to be the chase card, along with. Sorry, when does Buddy Poffin come out?
This set. It would also be in this set. I mean, I don't know if it's fair to call Buddy Poffin a chase card. It's definitely one you want to pick out of the packs you open, because it is like in Japan right now. It's roughly equivalent to about $4 a piece. I think it was. It's $16 roughly for a playset as of recording. So you're looking at roughly $4 a card.
In the pack opening videos I was watching for the secret rare reveals, they were always putting the Buddy Poffins aside because they know that those are going to sell.
Yeah.
Those are
really valuable.
We've talked about Prime Catcher before, but this will be a big card.
I mean, we've talked about all these cards. We talked about most of them last week, but it's really interesting. I would also like to point out real fast, because we have talked about these cards. I just want to look at the Turtwig real quick. That art is so good on that Turtwig. Like, is he not adorable?
Yeah, but I like Squirtle better. That's my turtle. I'm very protective of my Squirtle.
So Torkoal is my turtle. My turtle. He is a Torkoal. Turtwig, turtle. They are different vowels there. But yeah, it's Torkoal is my turtle. That's the one I've loved forever. So.
You know what's funny too is that like I think the Turtwig line was the first starter line I didn't like ever, because like we had
interesting.
We had Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, then we had Totodile, Chikorita, Cyndaquil. I know people don't like Chikorita, but I like the Chikorita line. Then Chikorita
is actually my favorite from that gen.
Yeah, and then we had, and I like Chikorita. And then we had Mudkip, Torchic, Trico. And then we had Turtwig, Chimchar, Piplup. Piplup is obviously like super cool. Turtwig, Chimchar were a little iffy, but Chimchar at least.
I didn't like Chimchar.
Yeah, but it evolved into Infernape, so that was cool.
Which I didn't like either.
We got a Super Saiyan fire type. And then Turtwig, I was like, we've gotten another turtle. What's happening? And that was the first time I was like, when the reveals. I remember I was in Palm Springs, actually, when they were revealed in Korokoro. I remember sitting there in the morning posting their reveals. It's very stuck in my head. But I was like, Turtwig, But anyway, yes.
See, for me, the first one I didn't like. First one I didn't like going through the generations would actually be Chimchar. But the claim to fame for like the worst generation for me for the starters is actually Unova and Gen 5.
Yes.
I don't really like any of them. I don't like them at all.
God.
I hate Snivy the least, but that's really not saying much.
Gen 5, I also remember posting the Korokoro reveals for those. My stomach sank. I never had such a negative reaction. I was like, I hate all 3 of these. Like, I do not like any of them. I remember I had such a reaction to them.
And it sucks because as a Pokemon fan, you want to love all of them, right? But I did not like them. Gen 6, I know we're a little off tangent here.
It's okay.
Gen 6, everybody loves Froakie, and I think for good reason.
I didn't really like Froakie.
I like Fennekin, but I don't like Braixen or Delphox.
Same. I like Fennekin.
Who am I missing? Grass type. Oh, the whole Chespin line is awful. I'm sorry. That's like the worst grass starter line.
I like Chespin. I don't. The middle one's ugly.
I don't like that line at all.
What's the middle one?
Gen 7, I think, did a pretty good job overall. I like the Decidueye's line. I think Incineroar's okay, and I think Primarina is okay.
I like Primarina. I don't like the middle one. Sorry, Primarina evolves.
Brionne?
Brionne.
Yeah, it's not that. That's why I said they're okay. Like the babies, the youngest forms of each of them, I think are fine. Like Rowlet's obviously adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Gen 8, I think I like all of them fair and well enough. I don't love any of them. I think Cinderace and Scorbunny is probably the one I like the most out of that generation. And then Gen 9, like, it's a grass cat. How do you not love Sprigatito?
Mm-hmm. And I like Quaxley.
Yeah.
I like yeah, it's we have similar opinions actually, and I think the fandom kind of did too. The starters, like, that's also why Gen 5, like, I kind of dropped out of it a bit, liking Pokemon, because I didn't like the starters that gen, and I didn't like how they reset everything, and I don't know, it was a turnoff. Okay, we're going way off tangent. Let's move on.
We are way off tangent. Gen 5 pushed me out of coming back to the games too, so that's also
I didn't
something.
Like Gen 5. All right, should we do Wild Force Cyber Judge Secret Rares?
Let's do this. The Pokemon Center TCG accessories real quick. We can gawk at the awfulness.
Yeah, so the Pokemon Center just released new TCG accessories, as you can see here. Card sleeves, deck boxes, double deck boxes, play mats. The only one I really like are the Pixel ones. But
I think the Porygon one's fine.
I think the Pixel ones also had released in Japan at one point. I might be wrong about that.
But like, I look at the Garchomp one, and it literally looks like just an Ultra Pro one.
Yeah, it's lame.
And then the one above it too, the one that's all the starters and stuff together.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay as a playmat, but everything else, it just looks really bad.
Yeah, and I kind of like the gold. What is this?
The Scarlet Violet borders.
Yeah.
They did that on all their merchandising or all their logos and stuff for Scarlet Violet.
Oh. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I'm not very observant sometimes. But yeah, I like the Pixel ones, but that's about it. I'm kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to love every bit of merchandise that they put out, but I don't know. To me, these feel pretty eh.
Yeah. All right, let's do the Wild Force Cyber Judge Secret Rares. So. Yes. Grottle with a little Meryl on top and a Meryl in the background and a Starly above it. These are always fun to find the cameos. I love this snow. I love the.
I know we talked about snow last week, but the glassy look is just so cool.
Bronzor.
And then the Reuniclus too.
Bronzor looking in the. Oh, hold on. I forgot Bronzor. Bronzor looking in the mirror. At a Bronzor mirror.
I was just skipping it. I didn't forget it. I was just skipping it.
Reuniclus sunbathing.
Yeah.
In a shallow beach. I still don't like this.
We talked about Fluttermane.
I don't like this artwork. Relicanth.
With, just a happy old looking fish.
Mm-hmm.
Mudsdale. I wish we had a better quality image of that Mudsdale. But I also kind of don't like how far away they look in the picture. Like the Mudbray and Mudsdale, they kind of look distant to me.
Like a wide shot.
Yeah.
Charbak.
And Toucannon, apparently.
Yeah. Who doesn't like this one?
It's like a party. I feel like this art would be really cool if they had like some sort of special gimmick with the Ghastly line. Maybe something like Mad Party or Lost March or something. Just to give them something unique so that you'd really want to play this card.
Wait, what am I looking at right here? I see a plant hanging. Is this a reflection? What is this?
It looks like a edge of a building. Yeah, because there's a door there.
Oh, there's a Meowth. I didn't even see Meowth before. Mm-hmm. Edge of a building, but then why is there a plant? What am I looking at?
It's just the outside decor.
I'm very confused.
You never seen people hang plants outside their buildings?
No, I do, but why does it look flat? Oh, it's probably the. I think the scan is.
You don't see
me off
you don't see the hook. No, the scans aren't the best quality, unfortunately.
That's what's throwing me off. Okay, and then this chat out we have to talk about. So
yes, we do.
People pointed out that I'm not a musician, but people pointed out that if you play the notes, or they're in an arrangement of notes here. This one is Chadot's cry in the video games, and then this one is the Pokemon Center theme, like dun 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 na na.
Yeah, and the socks are flats apparently.
Socks?
So the socks that are hanging from the lines indicate the flat for the note.
It's music notes.
Well, it's the flat symbol. It's what it's supposed to represent.
I don't know music.
It's not a note.
I don't know music. Okay, so it's some kind of music thing.
Yes, it's a kind of yes, John. It's a music thing. Everybody, please laugh at him in the comments. It's like a very basic knowledge. How do you not know what a flat is? Okay, whatever.
I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. I only listen to classical music and movie soundtracks, but I don't know. I should maybe watch some videos.
Ooh, movie soundtracks. Okay, real quick, random tangent. Which one's your favorite?
Oh, don't ask. I don't know. Studio Ghibli. Anything from Studio Ghibli, Joe Hisaishi. I don't know. It's too early. What's your favorite?
So, I'm gonna go with How to Train Your Dragon, John Powell, the original album. That's such a good one. Such a good album.
My best friend worked on all those movies, but I don't remember the soundtrack.
You should give it a listen. It's extremely good.
I think I've only seen those movies one time each. Like I saw them for the friend family screenings or whatever, but I don't quite remember them that well. I remember the last one I saw, but I'll have to give that a listen. Do you like?
Yeah, you need to give that a listen.
Don't you like? Do you like Stargate?
The series?
Well, it was a movie first.
Right, but that's why I asked.
Well, I figured.
Are you talking about the music from the series or from the movie?
From the movie. Well, I think the series used music from the movie, but yeah, I figured you would like Stargate because you've mentioned the other thing. What was that other show before?
Babylon 5.
Yeah, Babylon 5.
I like Stargate well enough, but
Cincino.
Yeah. Yes.
Minchino.
And Minchino.
With Meryl, and a
Minchino and Cincino. They're very cute.
And a Mr. Mime in the window.
Creeping in on the Cincino.
Torterra EX. Gouging Fire EX. Walking Lake EX.
Once again, the very, very boring full arts. I'm sorry, I don't like the full arts ever. I've never been a fan of them.
And then I think last week I was like, where does the hat go on Wug Trio? So
well, there's your answer.
It goes on the middle one.
That Wug Trio got a bright idea.
Yeah, it looks like it's wearing a light bulb.
But just the one head.
Gengar EX. What's its face? Raging Bolt EX.
Raging Bolt.
Adventure Explorer.
Explorer's Guidance,
Airy.
I love her illustration rare.
Mm-hmm. Morty's something.
Morty's Conviction. Yeah.
We've seen these before.
The illustration rares are fine, but we saw them a while back.
Yeah.
Here's these guys. Airy. That art is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. She's the one Team Star leader or whatever that just absolutely kicked my butt. So I need to have that card.
Morty with Gang, we talked about this before. And then we have gold cards of the...
Yay, generic gold cards. Woohoo, so exciting.
So these sets kind of have a minor Johto and Unova theme, which maybe because of the Paradox Pokemon they're featuring, but we have Morty.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
We have Morty and his Gengar. We've got, the legendary beast Paradox forms, and then we also have some... what was I going to say? We have some.
There's a lot of Unova Pokemon.
Yeah.
So you've got Reuniclus. Reuniclus is Unova, and the Cinccino line is Unova.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And then
obviously they're not all Unovan, but
And then in Cyber Judge, we've got, the Three Musketeers, which were from Unova. Bianca, who's from Unova. Okay, so Cyber Judge, we've got
that really cool art for Shiftry.
And these lovely Sawsbuck and Deerling, which we talked about before.
Lytton, also really good art. Lytton being a cat.
I didn't really get a chance to fully look at. I didn't get to really look at a lot of these up fully closely, but we've got Lytton here. We've got a Lytton plush, another Lytton merch, a shiny Lytton here.
It's very cat. Super appropriate.
The wishy-washy little toys for it. Charger Bug we've seen before. You loved this card. You absolutely loved
no,
this
I think it's boring.
Cutie-Fly with a
Cutie-Fly looks really good.
Yeah, it's like shows how tiny it is. It's like I would.
It is tiny. It's really small.
Yeah, it's cute.
It and Joltik would be best friends.
Excadrill. Just hanging out with some construction workers. People thought this was like a monster in the background, but it's just like an upside down Excadrill or Drillbur, one of them. And I think it's wearing a construction hat.
That looks so silly.
Yeah, people thought it was like a monster or something. Like if you just see it like this.
I mean, it is. It's a pocket monster.
Well, like a demon monster, I guess. But
yeah, Pokemon definitely features those in all their card artwork.
It's upside down. That's why it looks funny. Oh, actually, it might not be wearing a hat. It's probably just its drill thing. And then we've got Metagross with another Metagross making a snowball. I like that because it shows it's playful. Because Metagross is always kind of like cold looking.
I think they all are. Hold on, I need to pause for a second and get after a cat. Hey.
I'm not pausing.
I think so.
Meltan with a bunch of other Meltan. And it looks like somebody is doing like some kind of metal welding or something here.
And Meltan's soaking up all the shavings.
Mm-hmm. Lucky tongue.
Everybody's favorite tongue.
I hated this Drampa, but a lot of people liked it. And then we've got the full arts. Yay.
Yay, boring full arts.
Yay. Okay, then we have
Maniac's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. Salvatore. He's a suave dude. Bianca's is so boring. I guess they gave her a decent illustration rare, but her full art's kind of generic.
We've seen these before. Salvatore. Okay, I didn't get a chance to look at this up close. So
this art is so noisy.
Well, I mean, I like it. It's different. You've got the Gen 1 pixels. I actually have a blanket of this. Oh, it's actually right behind me. Oh, I've got a. Oh, I see. Headphone came out. I've got a blanket with an official blanket. So it's got that. It's got, what else does it have in it? It's got a lot of little cameos. But yeah, it looks like he's off to work or something with his Raichu.
Mm-hmm.
And then this will be the chase card of the set, because of course it will. Bianca, Musharna.
Mm-hmm.
And then gold cards.
And generic golds, woohoo. All right.
So we will be getting
I mean, there's some good stuff in there.
We'll be getting these in Temporal Forces in March, presumably. All right. What's our next story?
Let's talk about firing someone, shall we?
Okay. So this was the big scandal of the week, I guess. So a Dutch newspaper learned that 4 employees were fired from the Van Gogh Museum over their behavior during the Pokemon collab. The Van Gogh Museum, didn't want to say on record how many were involved, but the newspaper learned that 4 people were fired, including security guards, cashiers, and a member of the cloakroom staff. That's where you go to hang your coats. And one employee had worked at the museum for 25 years. The Van Gogh Museum considers it an isolated incident, and the newspaper learned that one employee was fired for embezzling a box of Pikachu promo cards, and the other employees were fired for giving heads-ups to scalpers about when the merchandise, like the paintings, would be in stock. Oh, I had this sunflower art here. What happened to it? I edit these news stories so many times because I'm like slightly OCD. And sometimes I edit the wrong versions. So I actually interviewed a scalper for this news story. I wanted to hear their thoughts. I just called the Scalper Network. It was so easy. You know what's funny about running a website like this for so long is that anybody will talk to you. But so I asked a scalper what his experience was, because he was camped out outside the museum many times along with the other scalpers. And he, here's a quote. He said, there were at least 2 employees. The newspaper said there was 1 employee who scalped the cards, but he's saying there were at least 2 employees who stole a box of the Pikachu cards. One stole a small box, another stole a master case, and he said, I bet there were even more. So you can see here the one of the mini boxes has 25 packs, printed in Belgium. And he also said that there was this whole scheme going on where, oh, here's the Sunflora. He said there was a whole scheme going on where the employees were alerting the scalpers when they could buy their tickets to get the paintings. So the employees would put the paintings on the shelves at exactly the times that they told the scalpers to get their tickets. And then the employees would also buy the paintings ahead of time. So here's a receipt showing that the employees bought it at 8:43 a.m. and sold it to scalpers, but the museum opens at 9 a.m. So the scalper went on to admit, I was one of the scalpers outside the museum. We were offering employees money for information. When you make minimum wage, some of the employees will fold. The employees would signal or message us like, you can pick up the paintings at this hour. The paintings were pulled out of the back and placed on the shelves for us at those times. And then he said, in regards to how the scalpers were working, he said there was always a line of people outside the museum waiting for to buy the promos and merchandise. A lot of foreigners and kids were going in like 5, 10, 20 times a day. Kids could get in for free, so they would sell the promos to us for 30 to 70 euros and go back into the museum for free and get us even more promos. And he also went in 30 to 50 times himself to get the cards. So this was a whole operation. And then
no kidding.
He said that when I asked him what the museum knew about the scalping situation, he said, I think the museum tried to cover their ass with the cheap excuse that it's just the little employees who did it. The higher-ups knew what was going on. More employees were involved. So it seems like...
Wild.
Yeah. This is probably why Pokemon doesn't collaborate a lot with these places, because they pull things like this. And then the museum...
apparently people aren't trustworthy enough to deal with.
And then
it's disappointing that something is like ruined.
And then the museum ultimately ended the promotion when the scalpers were robbed by a bunch of 16-year-olds on bikes.
Team Rocket blasting off again.
The Bridge Bike Gang. So what do we think of this whole situation? So to review, the employees were stealing the cards. They were alerting scalpers and they were alerting the scalpers when the merchandise would be placed on shelves and selling them even some of their own paintings that they got before the stores were even open to the public. And we had this whole operation where they're standing outside in line, sending people in to get the cards. What do we think of this crazy situation?
I think it was an inevitability, but I'm still disappointed in the whole thing. It's just like, for one, you can't expect a museum to have the safeguards in place to handle something like this, because this is not something they deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They're not a retail chain. They don't know how to deal with this. And like, as we've seen with the distribution of these at the retail chains or at the retail stores with the game stores we talked about last week, like, money's involved. These things are worth a lot of money. And if there's a way to milk it or a way to cheat the system to get more money, people are going to do it.
People are going to people. It's like, I I don't know. I'm kind of torn because it's like when you set up a system this way, that's just what's going to happen. But it's like Pokemon wants to give out these cards to people. They want to be associated with this museum. They want to do this. I don't fault them for that. But it's like, people ruin things, and this is probably going to stop Pokemon from doing these promotions in the future because this is what happens. So I don't really blame Pokemon because it's like, well, what else can you do? It's like we entrusted the museum to have these cards, and we wanted to do a nice promotion for this, for the people that were visiting, but this is what happens. And I don't know what are they supposed to do? Like have the museum like lock the cards up and take one out every time, or have like surveillance on them and monitor that? It's like, I don't know. It just sucks because it's just how people are.
It's funny too, like the people going in like 50 times a day, like they could have done all sorts of different things to, stamp their hands. Like you've been to a theme park before, like come on.
Well, they would just wash it off them. Like they would still figure it out. Like you're not going to stop. You aren't going to stop them. Like they're going to figure out. There will always be a way to figure it out. I mean, unless they use like facial recognition or something, and they're like, hey, you were already here. Like you can't get another one.
I mean, at a certain point, when somebody goes through, what was the number, 30 to 50 times, you would think it'd freaking remember them.
That wasn't all in one day, though. And when you have so many people...
It doesn't even matter. 30 to 50 times in general.
Right. But there's multiple employees giving out the cards. They're coming in at different times. I mean, I don't know.
That's still a lot. Because this promo didn't last, 3-4 days?
I don't even... No, I think it didn't... No, it went for a while, didn't it? Wasn't it like a month?
It was supposed to.
No, I don't remember how long it went, but it was longer than a few days.
How long did it actually last? Do you remember?
Well, they ended it like October 13th, and then didn't it start in late September? Yeah, it started in late September. So it went maybe like 2-3 weeks before they ended it.
I mean, at least they held out that long.
Yeah.
But even still, they should have recognized people, like...
I don't know. People at Costco, like, they go to get the free samples. And they go multiple times. And I'm standing there, like, watching. And I'm like, okay, how can they not see this? But the employees are dealing with so many people at once. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just like... There's always going to be ways for people to cheat a system. And, I mean, even the kids were involved. The kids were going in, too. So then, I mean, they even got the kids doing it. So it's like, it's just...
I know there were people that got tickets to go there so that they could specifically scalp them and then pay for their ticket. And then, like, the whole thing got canceled. And they're like, oh, now I can't make my money back. It's like...
It's like the only way to maybe avoid this is not doing it, but that's like not a good answer. It's like we want promotions like this, but
or you do what was that promo they did in Europe recently with the I'm talking about, right?
The stamped ones?
Where they just mail them to you.
Yeah, the holiday ones.
Where they mail them to you.
Well, those are, I mean, but if those had been unique promos, you can bet those mail places would have been overrun by people trying to scalp them. In this case, I think what maybe should have changed was that Pokemon Center printed a lot more of them and made them available through their website. More of them. I think that would have maybe alleviated some of the scalping because it would have had made so many copies available that maybe the museum would have been had some of that scalping alleviated. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just people are going to people, and Pokemon cards bring out the worst in people, especially in these economic times where people are making minimum wage, and I don't know. So anyway, all right. Should we move on? Is there anything else we want to say?
No, people. Pikachu.
then-
This
oh.
promo, I'm so tired of seeing Van Gogh Pikachu.
And then, like we talked about last week, they're gonna offer it in stores soon in the Netherlands in a few weeks, and the cards already.
That way they can all be
pre-scalped.
sold out from underneath everything for €100+ each. Yep.
The card's already being pre-scalped by those stores, so get ready for more Van Gogh articles, unless they just cancel it. All right, and then our final news story of the week is that Paldean Fates is now out. Yay! It's got
Indeed it is.
245 cards, 91 in the main set, and 154 secret rare cards. It's because it's a special set, it's a collector set. They're chasing the shiny cards. And our English cards have shiny borders, unlike the Japanese cards, which were solid borders.
Small upgrade.
Yeah, it's cool. The gold cards in our set look exactly the same as the Japanese versions. So here's a Japanese video showing the raised texture that the gold cards have. I think they look pretty cool. They could have done different artwork, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of them recycling the same art.
Mm-hmm. And then, of the 91 cards in the main set, only 45% are brand new. The rest are reprints from previous Scarlet and Violet sets. Our main set also has the Nimona artwork where she's in her purple uniform from the Uva Academy. That card originally came out at the beginning of the Scarlet and Violet era in Japan, but we never got it until just now. And yeah, so check out the article.
Hooray, Paldean Fates.
If you want to check out the article, if you want to see all the cards. There aren't any store promotions for this because it's a special set. The products are going to release every 2 weeks. So we'll get, so this set comes out today. The first wave of products, we'll get more in 2 weeks, and then another set of products 2 weeks after that, and then I guess that'll be it. So that's Paldean Fates. All right. So that's it for the week. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think that's it. It feels like we talked a lot, but honestly, I think our tangents were longer than the main stories.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we always liked reading your comments. I don't guess I should respond more, but I read everything, and I like when you guys comment on
Yeah,
things.
I read everything too. Like, just because we haven't responded doesn't mean we haven't read it.
We're just dealing with a lot of stuff. Usually too busy to respond.
You're telling me.
But yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. And what do we have actually coming up next week? I have a lot of news stories for next week, minor things, but I don't know if I wonder when we're going to get the reveal of Crimson Haze, actually. When do you think that's coming? Maybe in like 2-3 weeks?
Well, we just barely got the sets. I mean, they just released today.
Yeah, but even before they've released, even before they've announced Japanese sets, before the current set has even fully released, so it's not unprecedented for.
Yeah, but they've been a lot tighter about it recently.
Yeah, that's true.
If I had to guess,
because it comes out, when did I say March something?
Yeah, it's not for a while. It's actually kind of a distant release.
March 22nd. So maybe because they've been doing it. They sometimes do it like 6 weeks before. So if it's,
I'm gonna guess the 17th and/or 18th of February. That's my guess.
I'm gonna guess maybe the second week of February. So maybe.
So I'm guessing that date because that's when Champions League in I'm gonna butcher this. Fukuoka happens.
The streaming thing. They're gonna announce it through stream, potentially. Yeah. So 2-3 weeks maybe for that. Okay, so next week might just be minor news stories. We'll see. But all right. Thank you all for joining. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, like I said, and we will see you all next week.
Yep.
Say bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye.